89.5 The Wave. It's your girl Alexisgabrielle, and today I have a special guest here on air. Her name is Cami. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Great. I am so honored that you came on.
I'm honored that you had me on. This is awesome.
My gosh.
This is my first interview.
Shut up! Your first interview! This is so lit.
I'm honored.
So, like, you're from St. Louis.
Yeah, born
so you're
and
repping
raised.
from the Lou. Me too. Yes, girl. Okay. So, like, with being a St. Louis native, like, is it important to you to give back to others in St. Louis?
Absolutely. I mean, like, St. Louis made me who I am. The people here, the infrastructure. Like, I wouldn't be who I am without St. Louis. So
Really?
I need to pass that down and help out the next generation too. So yeah, I take that responsibility very, very seriously.
Definitely. Like, I just feel like sometimes, like, when you're from St. Louis, you feel like there's no way out, or maybe like you can't help others, but like you taking the foot and just being like, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna start this program, I'm gonna do this blog, like, this amazing. Like, you're so dope.
Thank you.
And like, just meeting you today, I'm like just so honored. Oh my gosh. So okay, so you started For the Culture. It was founded in 2016, right?
Yep, last August.
Like, how do you feel like it progressed since then?
It's progressed a lot. It's changed a ton. I can barely kind of recognize it now from what it used to be. When it started, I just started to put my stuff on there, like my own written content, my own videos, and you know, people started to hit me up and say, hey, I have this new music, like, can you put it on there? And I was like, you know what, okay, sure. And it kind of turned into more of a showcasing different things going on in St. Louis. But now what it's more like is like a media platform for specifically for video, you know, so short films, or if somebody has like a web series, or if they do have a music video, but it's like hard hitting, like, you know, kind of cool content, then I'll put it on the site now.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what was that transitioning process for you, like starting from someone hitting you up and be like, hey, I have this music, do you want me to put it on? And from it going to that, from I have art, I have pictures, I have this, that, and the other, I want to be featured on your blog site. How was that transition for you?
It was gradual, but when I look back, I see that all happened really fast. It's only been a year, pretty much, and you know, to me, St. Louis is cool because we will create what we need.
True.
And what I realized is like, okay, we need this platform because it just started as a blog, but people are turning it into what they need it to be, and they needed it to be something that exalted, you know, St. Louis stuff. So it was cool. You know, I just started getting more emails, more direct messages, and I'm like, yeah, of course, if it's dope, I'm going to feature it. I really didn't have rules to that, really.
I think it's all about the process. Like, if everyone has a path, and it's like, if you just follow on that straight and narrow path that you are supposed to be doing, like, everything will just build from there, and it's like so amazing. So like, the name that you came up with is so awesome to me. Like, I just keep thinking about it. So like, what does doing it for the culture mean to you?
For me, I mean, when I say the culture, I mean, you know, partially black culture, I mean St. Louis culture, but mainly I mean underground culture, right? So the stuff before the mainstream, the stuff that maybe in 5 years, the music artists and the different dances and styles and trends that people are going to see in 5 years, like, that's the culture. You know, it's the stuff that's like budding and brewing and that people don't see yet. So to me, doing it for the culture means showcasing the stuff that doesn't really get the limelight yet. You know what I mean? And then the things that help push the culture forward, not something that follows the trends, but the people who are out here doing original stuff.
Which is so dope,
because
there's so many times that people don't actually get the recognition that they're supposed to be getting. You're like putting in work day in, day out. You're like going to different clubs, trying to get featured, trying to do all these type of things. And it's like, we need someone out there that is able to, like, hey, I admire what you're doing, and I'm ready to put you on the forefront.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So, like, what's the process of being able to be featured on your site?
So that has changed a bit too. Since I'm less focused on music, I'm kind of going away from like promo videos and like promo for shows and stuff like that, because it's definitely cool, but it was starting to kind of bog me down. And what I'm doing now is, if somebody I have my original content, but if someone has an idea and they say, hey, I have a short film idea, or I have a web series idea, but I don't really have, you know, I don't have the camera, I don't have the, you know, I have the idea, but I don't have the execution, then that's for me to come in and, you know, and help them out there. But right now I have a board of 5 members, including me, so 4 different people. And whenever I get a pitch, we just sit down together and go over it, see does it match, you know, the vision for the culture, does it have a positive message, does it meet the mission as far as pushing the culture forward, and then from there, if so, then we move forward.
How has that worked for you, like working with others? How is that?
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah, I love it because the people that I have on my board are people that I respect very much and who see things differently than me and maybe have like a slightly different eye than me, but they're people who I trust their eye, I trust their vision, I trust them when they say, hey, this is cool, I think I think this could go somewhere. I trust them with that. So it's cool to not have it just be on me.
Yeah, it's always good to have like a different perspective in it. It's like sometimes you may not see the goal and someone else might, and you're like, oh, okay. When they bring it to the table, you're like, that does make sense. Okay, I see what you're saying, you know. So it started off in St. Louis. Do you have any future goals to like make it broader? Start a platform somewhere else.
Yeah, I think so. That's actually one of the reasons, when I was looking for domain names. Right now it's FTCTVofficial.com, but I was like, oh, should it be FTCTV St. Louis or STL or whatever? And the way I'm out of St. Louis maybe half the month between Minneapolis, which is where my office is based for my full-time job, and kind of just driving around the Midwest and then different traveling. Like I'm gone half the time. Yeah. So while I'm gone, I would like to introduce people to the platform. Kind of starting small, Chicago, Kansas City, Memphis, places that are driving distance. But yeah, I would like it to be something that becomes global.
Okay, so you mentioned that you're traveling all the time. When you are gone, is it a way that artists can like get in touch with you or someone in your panel? Like maybe they're not always in touch with you, but they're in touch with someone else. Like, do you have like a process like, hey, call this person, email this person, we have this?
In that case, it's usually me. It still is me. Even if I'm gone, I'm still usually pretty accessible in that way.
That's cool.
Whether honestly the easiest way, because people send me emails or whatever, the easiest way is just to tweet me, or if you have my number, to text me.
Okay, so you're a big Twitter fan.
I'm a huge Twitter fan. I'm all over Twitter. Like, I'm addicted to Twitter.
Really?
Yeah,
What's your favorite thing about Twitter?
My favorite thing about Twitter is Black Twitter.
Okay.
Like, Black Twitter
as the culture.
Yeah, like Black Twitter as it is we make the trends, the style, these slangs like come from Black Twitter.
Magic.
Yeah, and it's beautiful because Black people push the culture forward in so many ways. So if you log on to Twitter, you're able to see it in real time. You're able to see what we're talking about, what we're thinking about, what style, what music, and you get to just watch it happen in real time. And I love it. I love Twitter. Yeah,
okay.
It feels like a family.
So you have a bachelor's degree in business.
Yes.
So, with you having that, do you believe that actually equipped you to be more accessible in what you're doing now?
Absolutely. I think a big part of my degree, because I had a degree in marketing, was teaching me about networking and thinking outside the box, right? So not doing what everyone else is doing, and with marketing, that's a huge thing. It's like, how do you grab people's attention when we're in our phones 24/7? We're seeing ads in different blogs 24/7, so it's kind of like branding and staying consistent. And what I really want people to be able to do is that when they see some content of mine, the name shouldn't even have to be on it. I want them to know, like, the style is for the culture, right? You know what I mean? So that consistency, I think marketing and branding classes taught me that for sure.
Okay, so what's your goal audience?
That's changed a little bit too.
Really?
I think. Yeah, because
that is pretty dope. I like when people evolve, like,
for sure. And that's the thing, is I want my biggest target and like my home base is creatives in St. Louis who need a platform and who just want to see dope stuff online. But also what I've noticed is that there's a lot of people in the tech startup community and entrepreneurship communities who maybe they either don't have the time or maybe they're not from the area, and they're interested in knowing who are the new artists or what's kind of the cool stuff going on, but they don't really know where to start or where to go. And it's kind of cool. I've been targeting them a lot to say, like, hey, if you want to look and a peek into underground culture, this is how you do it. You can look on this site and you can feel a part of it, even though if you're not really a part of it, in real life.
That's dope. That's like so amazing. So like with you growing up in St. Louis, do you think that like kind of navigates the way you handle your business or your blog site, or just the way you just interact with the people that are a part of it?
I think so. St. Louis, as you know, is very divided in a lot of ways.
True.
And, on my end, I grew up in North County, but then I went to school in Ladue. So I grew up in a mainly Black area, and I went to school, an all-white private school for the most part. And
it's like a split.
Right, exactly. So what it did teach me, though, is, I know how my people think as far as in North County. I know how my family talks. I know how to communicate in that way. And then also in different communities I can communicate too. So when it comes to my content and the way I describe it, I like to use a tone that'll reach kind of like both sides of St. Louis in a way. Okay. And for my end, kind of get people who don't understand North County, for example, or maybe have misconceptions about North County, to introduce them in a way, in a language.
Or a lot of those.
Exactly, yeah. Introduce it in a way that in a language they understand, but also pretty hard hitting to show you, like, this is actually the truth. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I think St. Louis has influenced it a lot.
So do you have any upcoming things that you're excited about with your blog and everything that you have going on?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing, I just dropped my first like original documentary series called Smoke City.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Tell me more about that.
So it's 5
Smoke
episodes.
City.
Yeah,
okay.
So Smoke City is St. Louis. I called it that because I remember when I moved back to St. Louis, somebody when I was working said, hey, like, you know, it's good you moved back after all the smoke cleared, you know? And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, you know, after Ferguson, after all that smoke is cleared. I'm like, maybe the smoke's clear for you, but it hasn't cleared for most of us.
That's true.
You know, my people are still choking out here.
It's
on
still
this
lingering.
Right.
You know?
And a big thing about that I see in St. Louis is that, you know, we're Florissant, we're Ferguson, we're Baldwin, we're whatever, but we stay in these little bubbles, right? You know, we don't really interact. But we think we know everything about, you know,
that's going on. Like, we stay in our own little huddle and we're like, we talk to our own people, we try to do our own things, and we just have these misconceptions of what's going on around us. But we're not really taking the time out to be like, hey, let me go out there and let me see for myself.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing, is that we wonder, okay, why aren't we talking in St. Louis? Why aren't we on the same page? But then we don't interact with each other. So the goal for Smoke City, and this was just season 1, I got 5 episodes, but I want each episode to focus on a different part of St. Louis. So this season was Walnut Park, Baldwin, South City, Florissant, and Ferguson.
That's amazing.
And like introducing you to somebody from there, putting a face to the name. So if you're not, you know, say you're from Baldwin, you've never been to Florissant in your life, here's what it looks like here, you know, this is who lives there, you know. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I have a couple more things on my sleeve as far as new series coming up, but what I'm really excited for is people pitching their content to me, their ideas, their short stories. I'm excited to kind of see who I get to collaborate with in the future, especially college students.
So have you actually been to a college where you're like picking up students and be like, hey, are you interested in media and just being out there? Have you actually went out there and be like,
we're starting to the process. I haven't had the time quite yet to go in person and do it. But I think, you know, that's something we're doing, is going to be reaching out to the different colleges. I've had people, like individuals, reach out to me from different colleges asking about it, but no, definitely I want to get out there, get to the college campuses in St. Louis, and you know, introduce myself in that way.
As far as internships, have you thought about that yet?
I have.
Really?
Yeah, I have. I'm really slow and meticulous when it comes to adding things like that, though. And if I'm going to do it,
you got to do it right.
I want to do it right, and I also believe in paying people and paying people well. You know what I mean, or as well as I can. So my motto, I'm thinking I'm not going to do it until next fall, but is to have interns, and
look forward to it.
Right, yeah, it'd be
pretty dope.
Right. I want it to be a stipend, right? So for straight to their tuition of $1,000 per semester.
Wow, that's amazing. Right, so you're actually helping people, because a lot of times people may have interns, not to just down people that do free internships, but people have interns and they're like, can you do this, that, and the other, and they're not actually paid for their work, or even like appreciated for doing so. And it's pretty amazing that you're doing that, and it's going towards something that they would appreciate and would help them.
Right, and that's why I want to have it like a stipend for their tuition, you know what I mean? So it helps them further along in their education rather than just like it going straight to them. Because I mean, I had unpaid internships throughout college. Like I get it is what it is. It's just again,
sometimes it's informational. You're
right,
like, hey,
exactly.
It is what it is.
Right, but you know, I feel that a lot of black people in St. Louis, young black people, aren't given the opportunity to have paid internships.
True.
You know, so
and it's like, why? And just speaking on that, sometimes, well, I'm black, of course. So with just getting my honest opinion, I feel like sometimes we do feel like, hey, why am I doing this? I'm putting my hard work and effort in this, and I'm not actually getting paid. And if I am getting paid, it's not enough for me to support myself.
Right.
So it's like, what am I doing this for? Why do I have to do this, and why am I helping you? Because if you were in my shoes, you wouldn't be doing this.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and that's I'm on the same page about that, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. So, any advice for our listeners?
Yeah. If someone wants to get involved, you know, in the creative scene in St. Louis, St. Louis is flourishing right now, and it's really beautiful. And again, I travel a lot. I'm in and out of a lot of cities, but I hear a lot of people saying, oh, St. Louis is boring, there's nothing to do, you got to get out, you'll get trapped here. I'm like, that's real, but there's a lot building as far as the tech startup community, the creative community. Like, if you want to be part of that, find your place and get involved.
True. It's only boring if you choose to be boring yourself.
Exactly, yeah. So if you say, hey, I've always wanted to get involved in the music scene, not as an artist, but somewhere behind the scenes, but I don't know where to start coming out to shows and stuff. Start following artists on Twitter, you know what I mean, and just
utilizing this social media. We're on it 24/7 every day, 365, you know. So it's like, come on now, you're on it. You're on the social media. Go ahead, see what this person is doing. See what event comes out. You know, even Facebook has upcoming events. You know,
I mean, in St. Louis, it's easy. Like, if I go to another city sometimes, like, and I say, oh, I want to be involved in the music scene, it's going to take some work to get involved in it. In St. Louis right now, and I don't think it's always going to be this way, but you know, these couple years, like, it's kind of easy. If you want to get involved,
like groundbreaking, honestly. Like, a lot of things have been coming up, like with just having different events that people can go to, even healing events. Like, it's really amazing, honestly. So, where can we follow you?
So you can follow For the Culture. It's at FTCTV official, and that's on Twitter and Instagram. And then my name is CamiCruz Thomas, Cruz CRUZ, not like Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah. And it's
cruising down the street.
Yeah, it's CamiCruz Thomas on Twitter and on Instagram.
Okay.
So you can find me out there.
Well, once again, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
And
thank you so much for just building this platform that people can just go to. Like, it's accessible. So, like, it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, I just really appreciate you. And without further ado, this is Cami, 89.5 The Way.
So much.
Thank you.
Thanks.